The tech industry is booming, especially in Africa. There is a lot of opportunities that is happening in Africa in the tech industry. If you are a student who want to pursue a tech career and you are confused about which career path you should take, this video is going to explain for you step by step on a career path that is happening and is booming in Africa, or whether you are a person who want to invest in technology that is. So this video is going to break down the career roadmap in Africa. Welcome to this channel. My name is Lablonde Kalalizi and I am going to talk about understanding the tech industries in Africa. So this course is going to break down the tech career roadmap for Africa. At the end of this video, you are going to understand the structures of the African tech ecosystem. You are going to be able to identify high growth tech sectors. You are going to evaluate whether computer science degrees is necessary, and also identify high demand tech roles for 2026, and you will be able to select 2 career paths aligned with your interest. So whether you are a student who is interested in pursuing computer science, software development, any tech career path, and you are confused on where to start or what to do, so this video is going to break down step by step on what path you can take, especially in 2026. So the African tech ecosystem overviews. Let's look into the African tech sectors. So Africa is one of the fastest growing emerging markets globally and is driven by young populations and mobile adoption. So these African tech sectors are empowered also by startups solving local problems and increasingly attracting global investment. So Africa is actually attracting global investment. A lot of startups that are starting in the tech industries, and they are getting founded by global investors. So if you are a person who is interested in starting a tech industry or a tech startup, you do not have to hold yourself back, because the tech industry is one of the high growing industries in Africa at the moment. So let's look into the key drivers of Africa's acceleration. First, we have to look into the mobile penetrations. A lot of people use smartphones, and if we look into digital payment, African countries, they like sending money from one country to another, and digital payment is one of the growing tech part that is currently happening. You can either be sending money from South Africa to Nigeria to Zimbabwe to DRC, like in whatever part of Africa. And also that is not it, like we have this digital payment that the bank sectors are also opening, which is also a part of the growing digital payment industry. Startup accelerators, government digital transformation. So these are the things that you should look into: mobile penetration, digital payment, startup accelerators, government digital transformation. These are the things that you can look into if you are thinking about starting a tech startup. So let's look into the high growing sectors in Africa, especially in 2026. Number 1 is fintech. Fintech, what does fintech means? Fintech means financial technology, and this includes mobile payment, digital banking, cross-border payment, and financial inclusions. So if you are a person who is interested in financial technology, you can either build a mobile application that allow digital payment. You see, so you can either focus on digital banking or financial inclusion platforms. What do we mean by financial inclusion? It means that you are looking into those areas like townships, African developing countries that do not have access to technology, to digital payment, and you can be able to create something like a SMS money sending applications. So these are the things that you should be looking at, technology or fintech. So this is number 1 high growing sectors in Africa in 2026. Number 2 on the list, we have the EdTech. EdTech is called educational technology. You all know that during COVID-19, a lot of schools, a lot of universities and colleges, they moved from physical classes to online learning or digital classrooms, where people were using Zoom, people were using Microsoft Teams, Meet, to conduct their classes. So ed tech is one of the growing industry at the moment, and it's not only during COVID-19, but this has been accelerating from COVID-19 up to now. People are still learning online. Distance learning are accelerating. These are online learning platforms, university digitizations, skills training platform. So if you are an educator or you are a person who want to start educational training, so this industry is for you, educational technology. So you can start by either offering online classes, you can either start your own website and host courses, you can either create an app that will allow or that will be able to host universities or colleges and use your platform to educate students, distance learning platform. So something like that. So look into that if you are looking forward into investing in education technology. So the third one, we have AI and automation. Who doesn't know that we are in an AI trending emerging technology era? Like, people have been using AI such as ChatGPT for everything. Like, a lot of AIs are being developed, not only chatbots, but also we are talking about robotics. Let's look into this. We have chatbots, business intelligence, fraud detections. Like, now, like, people are investing in these things. As much as digital learning has accumulated, like, there is a growing number into digital learning, digitizations. Also, fraud has been accelerating, and people who are creating platforms that can detect fraud, they're actually getting founded, especially as a startup. Can you create any platform that can detect fraud, like fraud detections, or any platform that can solve any African problems in digital acceleration? Actually, this is a high impact, and this is a high profit market. AI and automation include chatbots, business intelligence, fraud detections, right? And number 4 on the list, we can check into digital identity and GovTech. These are biometric systems, national ID programs, e-government platforms. Digital identity is growing. Like, there is something that is happening, especially in South Africa, where they want to create a digital platform that will be able to allow citizens to verify their identity online. So if you can get into this digital identity career path, you're one of the people who in the next 50 years you will be able to get a job, even when they say that these emerging technologies or AI era is going to take people's jobs away. So digital technology, digital identity, and government technologies are the career path that are accelerating. You can either get into a career that you are able to create an application that is going to verify someone's biometrics, someone identity, using either your ID or any other identity document that might identify that. Because sometimes you can identify yourself and be like, no, this is me, this is me, but then in the digital identity world, you have to prove, like, you said that you are you, but prove that you are who you said you are. So there is actually this conference that I attended last year in 2024, and they were talking about digital technology, and it was really amazing. You can look up to it. It's called UN Africa Conference, where they talk all about digital identity. You have to identify yourself, and you have to prove that you are who you said you are. Isn't that is amazing? Especially if this kind of technology is booming in Africa, because some people think that Africa is one of the slow moving technology advancement, but in 2026 that is not the case anymore. Africa is growing, in adapting all these emerging technologies, right? So you have to look into that if you want to be in a growing opportunities. So let's look into local versus remote opportunities. What do we mean by local? The local can either be startups, banks, telecom companies, government ICT department. So local means at the area where you are. I'm not only talking about South Africa, but I'm talking about every African countries where you are. Look into the opportunities that are in the country that you are in, either South Africa, either Nigeria, either Congo, either Tanzania, either Kenya, any of the African countries that you are in. You can check what is emerging in that country. It can be agri-tech, it can be educational technology, it can be fintech, financial technology. So you have to identify what is in there. Startups are like business. Like what are you going to implement in your startups? Banks are part of the fintech. Telecom companies are part of telecommunications. Government ICT department, we talked about fraud detections, we talked about digital identity. So look into the opportunities that are in your country. So remote opportunities. So beside also local opportunities, you can look into the remote opportunities that are available. So you do not have to limit yourself in the country that you are in, but you can also look into the global opportunity. That's what we call remote opportunity, meaning you can be working while you're in Africa, but you're working for an overseas company. So you do not have to limit yourself. Those are international startups. You can be able to offer a service in an international base. Like maybe you are a software developer and you want to create an app for a startup that is in Europe. Like you want to create you want to solve a problem that is currently happening in Asia. So you can actually you can extend yourself to those opportunities. International startups, freelance platforms, like all of us know the freelance platforms that are available, such as freelance.com, such as Upwork, Fiverr. Like you can look into all those opportunities, and sometimes you do not have to limit yourself into Upwork or Fiverr because the competition is so hectic right there. You can create your own platform where you list your own services and your own product, and what you can be able to offer either in your local opportunities or in a remote opportunity, where people who are looking for your services, people who are expertise, they can find you and they can locate you and be able to pay you for the services or for the product that you are selling. So look into global SaaS, software as a service companies, contract-based development work. So you can actually look into all these things. So let's look into remote work. So what does remote work moves geographic barriers but increase competition. So a lot of people are looking for the opportunities that they can do to work from home, right? So and others are looking for the opportunity that they can be working sitting in the office. But geographic barriers, meaning that you are not limited by where you are, what you're doing, because you can be in Africa, you can be in America, but you're working for a country that is in India, for example. You can be working for a country that is in Swaziland, in Switzerland, in Australia. So that is we mean by remote work. You are not limiting yourself by geographic barriers. And then when we look into the earning, like the earning locally versus the global currencies. Of course, when you are working for a global companies, sometimes you might be earning your salaries in dollar. Let me say now you are working for an African country, getting your salaries in rand for those who are in South Africa, or you are getting your salaries in your currency in your country, and then you'll find yourself that the currency in dollar is so high compared to the local currencies. It means that when it comes to finances, you will be more advanced than those people who you are working in the same level of a career, right? So you'll be earning more, maybe even 5 times or 10 times if you are getting paid in dollars compared to those who are getting paid in their local currency. Common myths about tech careers. So there is a lot of myths that you have been told about tech careers. Maybe you have been asking for advice whether in this era of AI is a software development career is still a valuable career to pursue, or either you have been told lies, and let's look into those myths that you have been told. Maybe you must be a genius. So some people, whenever I say that no, I am a software developer or I've studied IT, and people will be giving me that look like, oh, you must be genius, like, oh, you are smart, like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Actually, that is a myth. So you do not actually have to be a genius to go and pursue a computer science, a software development, or any tech career. Secondly, they must be saying that no, you must know advanced mathematics. Trust me, the only time that I did math, it's when I was in my third year. First year, second year, I never done any math. So the only thing that I can say, you need a problem solving skills in order to pursue this computer science or software development career, but you do not need advanced mathematics. You can have been done like math lit, but you really do not need any advanced mathematics. The third myth that they have been telling you is like you need expensive equipment. Let me tell you one thing. When I started my career in IT, especially when I went to university, I did not even know how to use a computer. And then I went, and my mom went to buy for me a second-hand computer, an Acer old computer. That is where I started learning. So my first code, my first ever code that I ever done, like the first program and even the first project that I ever built, I built it in a second-hand computer. So you actually do not need expensive equipment in order to start with. And the fourth one, they say that you must have a computer science degree in order to get a job in tech. Actually, that is a myth as well, and that is not true, because you cannot, like, you can be someone who learns coding alone. You went and did certifications and you get a good job than even those who went to university for 4 years, for 5 years, 6 years, and do not actually have any job. So that is a myth that you should have a computer science degree in order to work in tech. And just guess what, it's not only coding or programming is the only choices in tech. You have multiple opportunities and multiple career path that you can follow in tech, and I am going to explain that along this video, so you have to stick around, because I am going to explain different career path that you can take or you can pursue as a person in tech. So tech is actually not about you being a genius. It's not about you having advanced mathematics knowledge. It's not about you having expensive equipment. It's not about you having a computer science degrees, and it's not about you actually being smart or whatever reasons. Tech jobs is also not only for software developers or programmers. The only thing that you need to pursue a tech job is problem solving skills, and you must be able to think clearly, like structured thinking, and you must be willing to learn continuously, because when you are in tech, there is new emerging technologies that are coming, like technologies are emerging, and you should be able to adapt to new technologies, and you should be able to learn. You should be able to accept that you are a continuous learner, because if you do not like learning new technologies, you are going to fall behind, and that when you will start feeling that heaviness of being in tech. So the first thing you need: problem solving skills, structured thinking, plus continuous learning abilities. Right, so the questions that I want to ask: do you really need a computer science degree? Do you really need a computer science degree? Actually, the answer, you must know the answer. You already know the answer in your head after me explaining everything. So actually, you do not need a computer science degree. So let's actually go around and explain, when does a computer science degree matters. A computer science degree matters when you're actually applying for a job in the government roles, because a lot of the government jobs, they will ask you to have a computer science degree and maybe some experiences Secondly, when you are working in high regulated sectors, you are looking for those management roles, and maybe that's when they will ask you to have those computer science degrees. And then if you're applying for a work visa, because you need to have a scarce skills, and computer science and tech careers are one of the scarce skills, so you need your qualifications to present to VFS or the government, whatever committee or whatever offices that you are applying for your visa. You have to present those qualifications and show that you have a scarce skills that they might be looking for. Fourthly is entering academic or research careers. Of course, one thing that I can recommend for those who are doing their masters, PhDs, or maybe you have graduated, so you can only go, like, you need a computer science degree, or if you want to get into research, because researchers are like a postgrad student. You want to work and become a lecturer, you want to become a supervisor, so you need those degrees to show that you have expertise, like you have to teach others the steps, like you are like a role model, and you want to guide them through the way as well. So competing in traditional corporate environments, so if you are a person who want to compete, then of course you will need to get that computer science degrees. So when skills matter more than a computer science degrees. So first, as we said, not all the time that you need to get a computer science degree. Sometimes you need skills more than a degree. And when does that matters is when you are working for a startup, right? When you want to become a freelancer, when you are looking for a remote tech jobs, they do not really care about your degree. What they care about is your skill. When building your own product, or when you're applying to skill-based hiring companies, a lot of companies are looking for a person who only have certifications. For example, AWS certifications, Microsoft certifications. Maybe you want to become a cloud administrator and they want you to have like a Azure or a cloud computing certifications, or maybe you want to become a data scientist or a data analyst, and they just want you to have those certifications. So honestly, it doesn't need you to have just that computer science degree, but you can skill yourself, be the best in what you do, and you will be among of those like at the top. Right. So modern hiring does not actually focus on the degrees, especially in current world, and the companies are looking into your portfolio, what you have built before. Do you have any projects? Your GitHub account, do you have codes? Have you been working on things? Have you been contributing on the open source project? Demonstrated projects, certifications, your problem solving ability. So those are the things that you should be focusing on rather than that computer science degree. Unless you want to work for the government, you want to apply for visa to go abroad, or you want to become an educator working in higher institutions, or become a researcher, then you can mind about that computer science degree. But other than that, focus on your certifications, focus on your project, focus on contributing on open sources, and build that problem solving ability, so you'll be fine. So career guidance. So what career guidance can I tell you? So for a non-computer science graduate, so you can learn by yourself and build 5 projects. Put that on your GitHub, demonstrate. So what you can do, like, pursue certifications, go get those AWS, Microsoft certificates, learn by yourself how to code, create projects, put the code on GitHub, and then you can start now applying for a junior developer roles. Secondly, for example, business graduate, what you need to learn is Google Data Analytics certificate, and you can apply for a data analyst position. And if you want to become a network technician, you can go for a AWS certifications, and you can start applying for the cloud support engineer. So structured effort is actually greater than a formal background. So sometimes you just need to show your hand that you have been working on some specific project, rather than just a degree without any build project, or rather than a degree without any experiences. So project certifications matter more than the degrees in modern hiring systems. So the high demand tech roles in 2026, especially in Africa, and it's not only in Africa but the global market in tech industries. First, there is a software developer. So as a software developer, is either you go and pursue certification, learning how to code using Udemy, using YouTube videos, and then you can go and apply for a junior developer role. But make sure that you have a portfolio. That means your GitHub must be looking good. Like after those 5 projects that I explained about, you can start going and look for a job. As a data analyst is number 2 on the list. Cybersecurity analyst, UI UX designer, those are like graphic designer, cloud engineer, product manager. So you can see that all these jobs here actually do not need you to be an expert in coding, but what you can do is just go get those certifications, maybe know a little bit of coding, but it's not actually necessary for you to be able to do. So let's look into software development. Software development is the career that you are so your daily job will be about you building systems. Either you are building systems, you are building applications, you are contributing to the code that is already there, right? So what you need, you have to learn 1 or 2 programming languages such as Python or JavaScript, and you should have a problem solving ability, and also be able to get your GitHub account and learn more about version control. So if you have mastered one of these programming languages, and you have a problem solving ability, and you have a GitHub account that you publish maybe 1 or 5 projects, and you know how Git or version control works, then you are good to go. You can go and start applying for local jobs opportunities or remote work. And let's look about the solving problem skills. This is very high, so you should be a problem solver, and the entry level difficulties is moderate, so it's not that easy and it's not hard to enter in the workplace. Secondly, data analyst. It interprets data to support decision making, and what you need to know, maybe learn about a bit of Excel, SQL, Power BI or Tableau, and have a basics knowledge of statistics. And then when we look into the market in demand, this is actually this market is growing rapidly. The entry level is great entry point for non-computer science students. So if you are the person who do not like to code, so this career path might be for you. Let's look into cybersecurity analyst. What do? You protect system from being attacked. So you know that a lot of systems are being hacked, especially in the modern tech industries. So the systems are being vulnerable to hackers. So as a cybersecurity analyst, you have to be able to protect those systems from being attacked. And here you need a network basic, security principles, and risk analysis knowledge. So the market in demand is so high and is currently increasing. So if you go into cybersecurity, you'll be able to get a job. And what you really need, you do not need a degree on this opportunity, but you can go and do certifications and you are good to go. So let's look into the UI UX designer. Here you're actually designing user experiences and interface. For example, if Apple is looking for the next iPhone, maybe you are going to be called to build the wireframes, you are going to be called to build any user experiences and interface that is going to be used in that system. If they are going to create a new app, like all the user interfaces that need to be to be applied by developers. So you, as a UI UX designer, you should be able to design those. And one of the things that you can learn is Figma, user research, wireframing, design thinking. So once you go and do Figma and create some of the project and build your own portfolio, so you are good to go and start applying for a UI UX designer role. So this role needs you to be creative and analytical. It has a blend of creativity and analytical blend. So when we are looking into entry level difficulties, actually it is a certification driven pathway where you do not really need a specific degree like a computer science to enter the job market, but what you need is certifications, a portfolio, and skills that you are able to be that you are a creative person, right? So now let's look into the cloud engineer role. You are able to manage cloud infrastructures, and here that is where you can get your AWS, your Azure, or your Google Cloud certifications. You should have the basics of networking, Linux basics, and design thinking capabilities. Here in this market, there is a high salary potential, and you do not really need to have a computer science degree. You can even have a metric, but you go and do your certifications, or you can have an N4, N6 higher certificate from a college. But if you have these certifications, you can go and apply for a cloud engineer role. And lastly, we have a product manager where you have to connect business, technology, and users. So you should be a good communicator, you should be a good strategist, and be able to understand technical basics and leadership skills. So here you need a blend of business skills and technology. You can either work in the office or hybrid, right? And the entry level, you need actually a degree in tech or a business. In this situation, it's either you have a mixture of a technology diploma or a degree, and maybe you have an MBA, so you'll be able to get into product management roles more than anybody else. So let's look into summary of these roles. As a developer or a software developer, there is a high level of coding, so you should actually be able to know how to code. The entry barrier is very medium. Why? Because they need you to be able to create any project. So your interview will be having a technical interview where you are proving yourself that you are a technical person. And the remote potential, if you are the person who likes to work remotely, actually this role is for you because there is a very high remote potential to work in. Data analyst, you do not need to be a good at coding, so the coding level is very medium. Entry barrier is very low. You just need a data analytics certification, and then the remote potential is also high, not very high like a developer role, but is high. A cyber security, you do not need to be an expert in coding. The entry barrier is also medium because there is some of the security skills that you need to demonstrate, and the remote potential working is high. The UI UX, the coding level, because remember here you are working with Figma and wireframing, so you should be able to know how to code, like a little bit of coding, so that you can be able to facilitate the developers as well. So the entry barrier is medium wise because you need a portfolio in order to beat the job market. And remote potential, sometimes you do not need to be in the office like day to day, because you can have either hybrid or working from home, like remote work opportunities. As a cloud engineer, you also do not have to be a high coder. You can have basics of coding skills. The entry barrier is also medium because you really need to know those cloud infrastructures, and working from home is high. And as a product manager, there is a little or to no coding skills that is required here. The entry barrier is very medium because you actually need a degree in order to get into this role, such as a product manager or a program manager. And work from home is very moderate, because most of the time they will need you into the office to be able to train developers or other employees, because you work as a leader in this space. So guys, I hope I have broke down some of these career paths in tech, and I am sure that after this video you will be able to go and create your GitHub account. If you are a person who is going to go into a developer role, you are going to learn a lot of things. Look into the certifications that you need from this career path, get yourself skilled, and go apply for those job roles. I wish you all the best, and if you are still following this video, I thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and go watch the next video.